Hello and welcome. In the previous video, we have gone through our course curriculum and we have gone through what is Python, what are the use cases and what we can build. And we have gone through all of the things in details. So in this video, we will be setting up our local development environment so that we can run Python code into our machine. So let's get started. So first of all, what do you need? You need to install Python itself. So just go on Google and search for Python. And most probably the first link will be from python.org. Just click on that. And then you have this page. This is the official Python website. So what you can do, you can go to downloads and click on that. And then you can download the Python from here. So at this point of time, the latest version of Python is Python version 3.11.3, which we will be using, right? So just click on this button and the Python 3.11.3 will be downloaded, or if you are seeing this video after a bit, then the version might be changed. So go and install that. And one thing I have to grab your attention to is that this extension, I am in Windows, that is why it is exe. If you are in Mac or Linux, then the extension might be a bit different. In Mac or Linux, you have some command line tools as well. Like in Mac, you have Homebrew, by which you can install Python and maintain the version and all the stuff. But for now, you can just go to python.org and download the Python. One thing is, I am not able to show you the installation process because I am not able to uninstall Python from my machine. But don't worry, it is quite straightforward. Just click next, next, I agree, and so on. But one thing I want to point out is that when you are installing Python first time, then what you will be getting, you will be getting a window just like this, right? And then what you have to do, you have to check this checkbox. At Python, the version will be 3.11 to path. If you do not do that, then in terminal, you will not be able to access Python. So, which is not good. And if you forgot to do this, don't worry. We will be going through the setup together in the later part of the video where I will be showing you how you can do this manually as well. So no need to worry. So just check this checkbox and then you can go with install now. You don't have to go through the custom installation, which is a bit more complicated. Don't worry about this. Just go with the default installation. That's it. It is quite simple. So next, what we have to install is Git. So what is Git? Git is a version control tool which helps us to track our code and track our progress throughout the code, right? So this is quite helpful and it is used in industry. So what you can do is in browser, write git, and the first link might be from git-scm.com. Just click on it, and here you can download Git. What it will download Git to your machine, and then you have a terminal as well, which we will be using throughout this course, which is called Git Bash. If I Git Bash, okay, so this is the terminal which you will be getting. Please don't worry, this thing you will not get by default. You will get some other things, but I will show you how to do this. But this is not necessary to do, like the visual improvements, because the commands in the terminal which we will be writing will be the same for all of us. So no need to worry, right? And if you are in Windows, I highly recommend to use this one, the Git Bash. Do not use PowerShell or command prompt. They are not that much great. Do use Git Bash, because here you can write some of the Linux commands as well, which is great. So there will be like no reason to not to use this one, right? So please use Git Bash, right? So yeah, and then what we have to do is, please go to your search engine and search for GitHub, because the code which you will be writing should be available to other people on the internet. And here GitHub comes. GitHub is a platform where you can push your code and other people can see your code as well, which is great. So please go to the github.com, and like here is sign in or sign up. Just go with that and create a free account. This is completely free. So now the for our terminal, right? So we have this default bash terminal, which is good. You can use it, no worries on that. But I love to use some other terminal which is called Hyper. So if you go to hyper.js, so this is the Hyper website. So here you can see, just you can download it, and Hyper will be downloaded. I'm not doing that. It is, the installation process is quite simple, and when you run Hyper, it will be here. And this terminal looks much better, and it has some other icons and fancy stuff which I like. So I love to use Hyper instead of the default git bash, right? So now one thing is optional for you, like this like snake icon and this version which you are seeing right now. It is coming from a prompt which is called Starship. I'm showing you that Starship prompt. This is totally optional, right? Like, it doesn't matter how your terminal looks. I love to use that, so I am using that. So here you have the installation process for Windows, what you can do, and then to set it in bash, we are using the git bash. So you can just add this line to your .bash rc file. If you do not want to do that, don't worry. The commands which we will be writing will be the same. So no need to worry, right? Cool. So now how we will be writing our code? We will be writing our code into our code editor. If you have some sort of preference to your Python code editor, then go for it. But my preference is VS Code, which is a free text editor, like a code editor, but with the help of plugins, it can turn into a integrated development environment, which is called IDE in short. So this is really great. Just go to Google and search VS Code, and then go to the first link, which is from code.visualstudio.com. Just go to there, and you have this big blue download button. Just click on it. It will download Visual Studio Code to your machine. We will be using this throughout this course. But if you do not want to use that, there are plenty of options. You can go for them. If you have some preference, you can go for it as well. No need to worry about that. Other one, a great Python editor is called PyCharm, which is really great, and it has a free version as well, and it has a professional paid version as well, which has some more functionalities. So you can use this one too. This is really great from JetBrains. Other one code editor which I really like is called Sublime Text. It is another one. It is a very lightweight code editor. So if you are having some trouble with Visual Studio Code into your machine, then you can definitely use Sublime Text. It has a unlimited free trial version, which is great. You can use that, and it is really great code editor as well. So yeah, these are the tools which we need to use. Now the question is how we are able to see that if Python is installed properly into our machine or not. So just go to your terminal. I'm using Hyper. You can use Git Bash, or you can use some other thing as well, like Windows Terminal, or in Mac we have iTerm and so on. Like, there are plenty of them. And then what you can do, like, I can see, like, from the start that Python is installed. The version is 3.11.3. So like, but if you want to see that what version of Python is in your machine, then you can use Python, type Python and then a space, then double dash version, and hit enter. you will be getting the Python version which you have installed, right? So for the version, I want to say that if you have Python installed previously into your machine, please make sure that the Python which you are using is greater than 3.6, because Python version 3.6 has introduced some new features which we will be using throughout this course. So it is very important. If you have some older Python version like Python 3.2, 3.1, or even Python 2.7 or so on, please make sure to install Python properly again, right? So please do that. So this is the Python version. And one more thing is being installed when you install Python, which is called pip. It is a package manager for Python, which we will be using to install some of the packages and use them into our code. But for now, you don't have to worry about that. Just you can write pip, then dash dash version and hit enter. And yes, it is getting the pip version 23.1.2, which is, I think, the latest one as well. So yeah, that is the thing. And we have a path as well. I am getting into it in a bit, but before, I want to talk about a bug which you might be facing. Like, sometimes what happens is when you install Python, then Python is installed but pip is not installed. If it is the case for you, then I have uh, a blog post here. So this is from Active State. I will link this blog post in the description of the video. Here you can see they have the proper instructions to do that. So what you can do is, yeah, this one. You have to just copy paste these two commands, this curl command at first, and then you have to copy paste this one, python get -pip.py, and pip will be installed into your machine. It is very important. Please do not ignore that. So if you are facing some sort of issues with pip, then please go to this website, this blog post, and do the proper installation of pip. Okay, so pip is installed. Then we have installed one more thing, right, which is called git. So if I go and say git dash dash version, I'm getting the version 2.40.1 windows.1. This is like, for me it is Windows because I am in Windows. You might get some different message. As long as you are getting some sort of version, you are good. Okay, so yes, that was the thing. Now, one thing I want to show you is that if you are running python dash dash version and you are not getting some sort of version, what you should be doing. That means you have forgot to add Python to your path environment variables. So what you can do, you can run this command, which is called, you have to be on bash for to run this command, right? So which, then Python, and hit enter. This is the path where my Python 3.11 is there. Now, if you want to know that where your Python is being installed into your machine, or if you have several versions of Python into your machine, then you can write in Windows. I'm not sure in Mac or Linux this will work. So where dot exe Python, and hit enter. So as you can see, I have 3 versions of Python installed into my machine. So yeah, and my machine is picking up this first one because if you see, this path and this path is quite same, and it is totally same, right? So what you have to do, if you are not getting the Python version, then you have to search for here, like edit environment variables. I have searched for it, so you can search for env environment. So this will be the first thing, I think, and then click on it. It has opened into my next monitor, but yeah, this is the window. And then you can go to environment variables, And then you can go to the system variables and go to path and double click it, and here you have all of the environment variables. So what you have to do, you have to just uh, like copy this path which is being displayed into your terminal and paste it here. Like if I show you, this is my path, and this path will be similar in Windows except for this username. Here, if you are having some trouble finding out, then you can just go to this path with your username and you will be able to find Python there. Just copy paste the path for Python, which is users. For me, it is Indra, app data, local programs, Python, Python 3.11, and one more thing, which will be Python scripts, like Python 3.11 slash scripts. If it is not there, then pip might be having some sort of issues. So make sure to add these two into your path variable. And I think that might resolve your problem. So, okay. So now this is really good, right? So we have installed Python into our machine. We have installed VS Code or PyCharm or Sublime Text, whatever you prefer. So the last thing is I want to show you some settings of VS Code. So let's open VS Code and have a look. So yeah, this is VS Code. When you first open that, this might be the interface, right? So now what you can do, you can go to the sidebar and check out these icons. You might have some less icons because I am using some extensions for Docker and Kitless. So that is why I have these icons. It is not necessary for now. So this will be the default like view of that, right? So we need to install some plugins to write our Python code a bit more properly. So you go to this tab which calls extensions and just click on it. And then I have a bunch of extensions. Please don't worry about that. What we need to install is called Python. Python, and it will take a bit for search, and here we go. So this is the Python package which is from Microsoft and which has a tremendous amount of downloads, so that is great. So yeah, you have to install this package. So when you are first installing this package, you have some install button just like this. Don't install this one like the Python indent. uh, just click on that install button and you will be able to download this package or this extension. And this extension will add some more extensions as well, some Jupyter ones and some other things. Like, you don't have to worry about that. One other extension which we want to use is called Code Runner. So this is called Code Runner. You have to install that as well. It will help us to run our code from VS Code. So it is a very nice extension. You should be installing that. Okay. And for the final thing, which I want to show you, is a theme which I would like to use, which is called OneDark. Which is called OneDark Pro. You can install that, and if I go to the settings and themes and color theme and then do this, as you can see, it is a bit easier on my eyes, so I love to use that. You can use the default theme as well, like there is no change on that. Okay, we have set up our VS Code extensions. Now I want to show you some settings which I love to use. Just open the settings by go to this gear icon and then hit settings, or you can hit the shortcut which is control comma. Just click on it. This is the VS Code settings, right? So here you can search for format on, and here you have two options, which is format on paste. which is unchecked by default, and format on save, which will be unchecked by default, but please make sure to add format on save checked. One other setting which I want to show you is for code runner. So simply write code runner, and then you have some settings. Just scroll down a bit, and here you have code runner run in terminal. You should be checking this thing, right? Because if it is not checked, then our code will be run in a output window, which is not great, because in that window we cannot input anything, right? But if we are setting this run in terminal checked, then our code will be run in terminal, and where we can input something, and as well as we can get the output of it as well. So please make sure to do that. So yes, these are the settings which I am using. You can dig into a bit more and find a better theme or some plugins which will help into programming, but these are the settings and themes and like plugins which I am using throughout this course, right? So yeah, that was a bit long video. So thank you for so much for watching, and catch you guys in the next one.